I came to all this at a very young age. I read my first Jane Roberts book in the 7th grade. So lately, this whole thing about, in my dreams, I've been experiencing, I'm certain, pretty certain, that I'm experiencing parallels, different. It's like I'm dropping in on different versions of me in my dreams. And they're at different stages in terms of life experiences and things. So I'm just wondering, first off, there's a part of me wondering maybe if this is a metaphor, analogy, or dreams trying to tell me something. But the other part of it is, it's the same people.
The most important thing to understand about dream, and the way we have been saying it for a while, is that dreams are manifestations too. That you get what you think about. And so what you're thinking about and therefore offering vibrationally is what's manifesting in your experience. And what's manifesting in your dream experience is the same thing. Now today, we can offer it in greater clarity by saying your dream is your grid filling in. And it's interesting because in the dream state, the grid can fill in more easily because, first of all, you don't have to build the house to live in it in your dream. In other words, in your dreams, grids can fill in more easily. So they are giving you information about what you've got going on vibrationally. So let's start in this place. This is really an important thing to understand. The basis of your dream, we've been saying for years that when you awaken from a dream that you can recall vividly, that the most valuable question to ask yourself is, how did it feel? Because the emotional content of the dream is telling you what grid is active. In other words, once you're meditating frequently and positive aspecting frequently and appreciating frequently and predominantly tuning yourself to your vortex and allowing your grid to fill in, now your dreams are more and more meaningful. They're going deeper and deeper. In your dreams, you're having insights and information is coming because your dream is the core of you filling in. And many of you have heard us say, if you've been listening to us for a while, that when you start having those kinds of dreams, when you're having repetitive dreams, there's a manifestation that's going to come that's going to reflect the dynamics of that dream pretty accurately. Because once you start dreaming it on a pretty regular basis, that means that you're practicing the vibration of whatever that is significantly enough that manifestation is ensuing. Now we want to back up and say something. Well, we'll just say it and you can figure out what it means to you. The dream itself is a manifestation. A thought coming into your mind is a manifestation. Even an emotion that you're feeling is a manifestation. So now let's redefine manifestation. A manifestation, in the way that we are meaning it here, is anything that I am consciously perceiving. In other words, once you're aware that you're having an emotion, we want to call that the grid filling in. It's a manifestation. So why does the dream take shape like it does? So you heard us talking earlier. This is such a good day. We are talking about this core vibrational grid. And if you're active in it, if you're focused there, if you're meditating and appreciating so that you're practicing the vibration of who you really are, so that you got love and appreciation and self-respect going on, if you're proud of yourself and enjoying others. So this is the core vibration that's happening within you. So that's the basis of your dream. So then what makes me interpret in my dream? Why does my dream fill in with that particular person and that particular person? Why in my dream am I having these kinds of conversations? Why is my dream shaping up the way it is? Take it further. Why is my life shaping up the way it is? But why? This is a dream conversation. Why is my dream shaping up the way it is? Because you got a bunch of those other grids going on. We talked about this in the very first segment.
But if I may, this is my deeper question, I guess.
Well,
are there parallel
we are happy
realities?
to hear your deeper question, but there is no deeper answer than to understand that what you've got going on vibrationally is attracting to you from wherever. And of course, there are endless realities.
Okay, that's the question. That's the answer to the
But
question.
what are those realities? Where do they come from? Are they core-based realities? Are they coming from the core of who I am? Or is it the spin-off of man's negative thought? What are those realities?
So it might be possible that I am dropping into other realities or other versions of, quote, me.
Of course you are. But you see, what we wish for you is such consistent alignment with the core of who you are that there's no fogginess or confusion about the manifestations as they fill in dreamscape or otherwise. Jerry studied Seth for a long time, and there was a lot about the alternate realities. And as Jerry was wanting us to explain that to him in greater detail, we tried to soothe that subject by introducing law of attraction and point of attraction. Seth said, you create your own reality. Jerry wanted to know how, and that's what we've been talking about all of these years. You create your own reality by offering a vibration that is attractive in nature, and law of attraction then satisfies that vibrational output with an input. In other words, what you think about comes back to you. And the more you think about it, the more it comes back to you. And that is the way you create reality. So when you say, I'm dropping into other realities, we want to say, as Seth would say to you if Seth were talking to you and is, you create those realities. They're not out there and you're just stumbling into them. You are the creator of all of those realities. We just want to express the jubilation that we are all feeling about this leading edge conversation and the importance that it is to us, whether you all get anything out of it or not. And of course you are, yes. So every morning as Jerry is writing with Esther is writing, she tells him about her day, and then she laughs and says, I don't know why I'm telling you about my day, if in fact you're actually running around with me. But it helps me to focus in what I want to talk to you about. So she'll sort of write some notes about what happened and what she was feeling about it. And she thought this will be a really good book. It's 125,000 words, which is about a book and a half now, of me saying I miss you and him saying I'm here. In other words, at some point, it needs to morph into a different dialogue than that, you see. And so on this one particular morning, she'd written how she was missing him, and what he wrote back was, I will look for as many opportunities today as I can find to let you know how much I am loving you. Yeah. So, she is still not feeling that good. She is still invested in the grief of her moment, and not enjoying but finding plenty of sympathy from those who are around her. And now Tracy and Esther are in the car, and they're going from daughter Tracy's house, out to Jerry and Esther's house. And Tracy suddenly is so thirsty that she cannot survive the 8 miles of distance. It is a sort of, I will die if I don't get liquid moment. Irrational. And so Esther looks for a place that they can stop, and stops at a place she has never been before and probably will never go again. It's Chick-fil-A. And as she's driving through the drive-thru, there is a double drive-thru which she had never seen. And as she looks over at the car, through her tears, the back window in letters this big said love, and the front window said you. Now, Jerry didn't actually shoe polish that window, but he knew where it was, and he knew where Esther was, and he knew the influence that he could offer, and he offered a powerful thought from his vortex grid, which is powerful, and his power of influence is mighty, and circumstances and events and all cooperative components fell into place, and Esther got the message and knew it was from him. They got their drinks, they drove 8 miles, they pulled in the gate, and then in the other gate, and then in the garage. And as they're getting out of the garage, Esther notices a box that has just been delivered, just came by Federal Express. She opens it, and there are 8 gigantic cups that say, Big Love. Now, the cups were in motion. Her friend had already sent them. But the orchestration of the timing, you have to understand. The orchestration of the timing is about the interfacing. You have more non-physical energies of those you have loved, of those of you have known, of those who are your relatives, of those who are of your ancestors, of those who are aware of you. This non-physical energy all coming forward into your now, all coming forward into your now. The continuum of love, the cycle of life. You are just beginning to understand the fullness of all of that. And when you pay attention a little bit, you'll begin to understand that to a person, you are loved and adored by that non-physical energy who is aware of you. And if you will stop applying your varied and bogus version of grief and unworthiness and hatred and any of those emotions that you've picked up along your physical trail from your attention to unwanted things, you will allow yourself that what often feels too subtle for those like you and Esther, but eventually becomes the richness and the fullness of this non-physical energy that is juncturing with you in your now, 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 in your now. You are not alone and you never have been. And you are not on your own and you never have been. You are supported, and we use that word carefully because we are wanting you to understand that it's not support that's coming to you out of your need. It is support that is coming to you out of your desire. But in your need, you deprive yourself of it. And in your alignment, you allow it. And it's the thing that humans have been complaining about nearly from the beginning of time, and certainly from the beginning of their beginning to understand the way they connect into non-physical. Because it feels wrong to you. It feels like it's not your human nature. It is the nature of the beast that you watch, but it doesn't seem to be the human nature. You've trained it out of yourselves, and you would be well to let it go. And it goes like this. I support those who are in need, and I train them to be needy in order to get support. But then the only support they can get is from the physical experience. They deprive themselves of the true grid, you see. There's plenty who will come to support you in your neediness. And you can beat the drum of your neediness, and there will be many who will be there. And they will feel virtuous and valiant in their offering to you their support. But the support that you're really looking for is the support that comes from inside the vortex. And it comes to you when you finally accept the perfection of your being, the juncture of the physical and the non-physical, the eternalness of your being, the never-endedness of that which is you, the love of that which is source. And it's ever, ever, ever offering to you. But you got to receive the love. You got to let it in. You've got to find a way of being a vibrational match to it. And for many of you, you're probably going to hurt really bad until you can't stand to hurt before you do that. But you don't need to let it get to that point. You can let it in anytime you decide to. You just got to find the willingness to do that. We're wanting to leave it in this place of understanding. We want you to feel the fullness of that which you are and the fullness of that which you are and provide for us. We want you to know that life is supposed to feel good for you. One day Esther was reaching for Jerry and trying to figure out where he is. And she said to him, I want to know what it's like for you. What are you thinking and what are you doing and where are you? And as long as she was trying to find him out there in some place she does not understand, she couldn't find him. That's what made her feel grief. She couldn't find him because he's somewhere that she doesn't understand, doing stuff she doesn't know, or at least she thought. And then we helped her to understand, and so did he. After a while of looking someplace where he is not, when she realized that he's not out there doing other things, he's in here doing these things. That this really is the leading edge where the interest of non-physical is. Do you follow that? The interest of non-physical is right here with you on your leading edge. And when Esther looked for him here, she found him. There will never be an energy more interested in what is going on here than Jerry.